Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In this video, I'm going to be discussing one of the most loved and hated characters in the series, Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy was a British pureblood wizard born in the year 1980, the son of Narcissa Malfoy and Death Eater Lucius Malfoy. Draco started at Hogwarts in the same year as Harry, Ron, Hermione, and many of the other characters that we're all so familiar with. Right from the beginning, we get a sense that Draco is the archetypal bully. J.K. Rowling describes Draco's character as follows. Everybody recognizes Draco because everybody has known somebody like him. Such people's belief in their own superiority can be infuriating, laughable, or intimidating, depending on the circumstances in which one meets them. Draco succeeds in provoking all of these feelings in Harry, Ron, and Hermione at one point in time or another. Draco's character development throughout the films is quite extraordinary, as he goes from playful school bully to a confused young man that is slowly driven to the dark side. Draco of course hails from the Malfoy family, a family of elitist purebloods that look down upon anyone that comes from muggle descent. His father Lucius was a two-faced Death Eater that worked for the Ministry of Magic, but still secretly served the Dark Lord. I feel sorry for Draco's character because he became the product of his environment. He was constantly surrounded by dark, evil wizards, and as a young and impressionable young man, it was almost as if he had no choice but to go down a dark path. The catalyst that really set him off was when his father was imprisoned after the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, a battle that effectively served as the catalyst and first major conflict of the Second Wizarding War. With the imprisonment of his father, Draco felt the pressure and knew that he would need to step up to the plate and fulfill the Malfoy name, even if deep down that wasn't something that he wanted to do. So, to answer the question, what would Draco Malfoy see in the mirror of Erised, I think that it would be most appropriate to first determine which Draco we are addressing. Are we addressing the young and impressionable Draco Malfoy, who had his whole life ahead of him and had not yet entirely succumbed to dark forces? Or are we addressing the confused young man that felt the pressure of the dark forces surrounding him? In case you've forgotten how the mirror of Erised works, it's a magical mirror that shows us the deepest, most desperate desires of our hearts. This is reflected in the mirror's name, no pun intended, as Erised flipped around reads as Desire. The mirror itself was made sometime before the end of the 19th century, and is located in the Room of Requirement in Hogwarts. Engraved on the mirror are the words Erised Stra Eru Oit Ub Kafru Oit on Wasi, which, backwards, reads as I show not your face, but your heart's desire. If we were to look at Draco Malfoy in the time span of 1st to 4th year, when he still showed a fair bit of innocence, I think that we'd see a young man that just sought validation, attention, and respect. He was the leader of his clique of Slytherins and quite popular in his own house, but was always secretly envious of the attention that Harry received from the student body as a whole. Additionally, Harry would frequently best Draco in things like duels and Quidditch, which got in the way of his perception that he was the best, that he was the guy. Draco wanted to be adored by all, and wanted everyone to have the perception that he was the best young wizard around. Additionally, he desperately wanted his parents to be proud of him, and this was part of the reason that he always wanted to be the best, because he knew that it was what his father wanted. So I think that if he were to have looked into the mirror during this time frame, he would have seen himself in his Quidditch robes, surrounded by the student body cheering on his success. His parents would be in the stands, cheering and clapping for their son. Dumbledore would be smiling, and the scorecard would read Slytherin 150, Gryffindor 0. If we were to look at Draco Malfoy in the time span of 5th year to nearer the end of the Battle of Hogwarts, we would see a very different Draco. His priorities had changed, and things had gotten much more severe. His father was imprisoned, the playful pranks that he played on Harry were no longer quite so innocent, and the presence of the Dark Lord was looming. The pressure was on Draco to pick up the slack for the Malfoy family, and he was tasked with the burden of killing Hogwarts headmaster, Albus Dumbledore, the same headmaster that he had known since he was just a small boy. At this point in time, Draco felt more pressure than ever. He was continuously pulled toward the darkness by the people that he associated himself with, but really, he was not evil. His internal conflict was all that he could focus on, and he had a hard time coming to terms with his own identity. Was he a Malfoy, destined to advocate pureblood supremacy and follow the Dark Lord? Or was he just like everyone else? As Draco's internal struggle intensified, he missed classes, stopped attending Quidditch practice, and did not fulfill any of his duties as a prefect. These were all things that he would previously enjoy, and it became apparent that the pressure was affecting him. By the end of the Wizarding War, Draco's life is in shambles. The dark side that he had chosen had proved unsuccessful, and his family were probably more ashamed than ever. I think that if he were to have looked in the mirror at this point, he would have just seen himself, his mother, and his father all living a normal life, as they had done before. There would have been no resurgence of the Dark Lord, and his father would have left his life as a Death Eater behind him. They would have all been happy and healthy, and their family's reputation would be in good standing. Most importantly, there would no longer be any pressure on him to follow dark pursuits. And that's it for this video. What do you guys think? What do you think Draco would see in the mirror of Erised? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, you're a wizard, Harry!